Presented by Listen Headlines, latest world news from trusted sources. Updating daily at 6 a.m. New York.
Mirror World News.
December 23, 5:07 America, New York. Italian bride and groom to be found murdered in flat after she flew to UK to visit him. Tributes have poured in from friends and colleagues for 25-year-old Nino Calabro and his fiancée Francesca Di Dio, as a 21-year-old man is arrested on suspicion of their murder.
Mirror World News.
December 23, 5:03 America, New York. Heartbroken dad. Can't afford to bury daughter found dead in Jamaica before Christmas. Conroy Williams will not be able to fly to Jamaica to arrange his daughter Vanessa's funeral as he is struggling financially, and says news of her death has broken him.
New York Times World News.
December 23, 5 o'clock America, New York. How to travel the world while putting nature first. In the wake of the UN Biodiversity Conference, Julia Simpson, the head of the World Travel and Tourism Council, discusses a new initiative called Nature Positive Travel. "We used to talk about leaving a lighter footprint," said Julia Simpson, above, the president and chief executive of the World Travel and Tourism Council.
Washington Post World. December 23, 4:04 America, New York. Journalists in Somalia slam government restrictions, arrests. Journalists in Somalia say the government is further restricting their work amid a significant military offensive against the al-Shabaab extremist group, with a new directive to submit content for approval before publication.
World News. Breaking international news and headlines, Sky News.
December 23, 3:38 America, New York. French killer, the Serpent, freed from Nepal jail. The French murderer known as the Serpent has been freed from prison in Nepal after serving most of his sentence for the murders of American and Canadian backpackers. File photo. French serial killer Charles Sabraj leaves Kathmandu District Court after his hearing in Kathmandu.
Washington Post World.
December 23, 3:34 America, New York. Israeli police kill assailant after alleged car ramming. Israeli police have killed an assailant who allegedly rammed them with his car after trying to shoot an officer in central Israel on Friday, leaving 3 policemen wounded.
Washington Post World. December 23, 3:22 America, New York. Notorious French serial killer freed from Nepal prison. Confessed French serial killer Charles Sabraj has been released from prison in Nepal after serving most of his sentence.
BBC News World.
December 23, 3:16 America, New York. Serial killer The Serpent, Charles Sabraj, freed from Nepal jail. Charles Sabraj, convicted for killing 2 tourists in 1975, was suspected of several murders in Asia.
Mirror World News.
December 23, 2:47 America, New York. North Korea fires ballistic missile as Kim Jong-un ramps up tests over Christmas. Earlier this month, North Korea said it tested a high-thrust solid fuel motor for a new strategic weapon, a development that could allow it to possess a harder-to-detect arsenal of intercontinental ballistic missiles.
Fox World News.
December 23, 2:45 America, New York. Taliban minister doubles down on banning women from universities for violating Islam and Afghan honor. The Taliban-led government's Minister of Higher Education has responded to backlash for the country's decision to ban women in private and public universities.
Fox World News.
December 23, 2 o'clock America, New York. Tourists in exotic tropical destinations victimized by crime, travel mishap horror stories in 2022. A long list of tourists vacationing in tropical destinations saw their trips turn into horror stories in 2022 as some resort cities across the world face travel advisory warnings.
New York Times World News.
December 23, 0:07 America, New York. Your Friday briefing. Volodymyr Zelensky's return to Ukraine. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky is greeted in the House chambers after he addressed a joint session of Congress on Wednesday.
New York Times World News.
December 23, 0:00 America, New York. Day 23. On Christmas Day, no rest for the weary. Or the guy who feeds the penguins. For a biologist in San Francisco, December 25 will bring not presents and mistletoe, but beak trims and fish guts.
World News. Breaking international news and headlines, Sky News.
December 22, 23:27 America, New York. Trump engaged in multi-part conspiracy to overturn 2020 presidential election result, January 6 panel report. Donald Trump was engaged in a multi-part conspiracy to overturn the lawful results of the 2020 presidential election, according to a report by U.S. politicians. Former U.S.